What's up, everyone? My name is David Klinedinst, and I'm the Evangelism Director for the Chesapeake Conference. And I am so super excited to be part of the first ever NAD Pastor Evangelism Boot Camp. And so I want to say thank you to Jose for inviting me to be a part of it. But since we only have 10 minutes to present, we need to get right to the point. Now, there are many forms of evangelism that I love. But the one that seems to work best for me and is most effective is the public evangelism format using a prophecy series approach. Except we do it a little differently. Now, I know when people hear the term public evangelism, sometimes they groan within themselves because they have seen it done in a negative doomsday sort of approach. But friends, I believe that evangelistic meetings can and should be done and presented in a Christ-centered, positive, and relational way. That is absolutely essential. And in order to do that, we use a series of sermons called Forecasting Hope, which you see on the screen behind me. And what Forecasting Hope does is it takes the major doctrines and prophecies of Daniel and Revelation, our unique message, but it presents them in a different sort of way. A Christ-centered, a positive, a relational way that is gospel-oriented and practical, while at the same time being true to our unique message. Because when you think about it, sometimes we tend to present evangelistic meetings in a very intellectual, doctrinal sort of way. And we just bombard people with statistics and facts and figures, all these dates and timelines and fancy prophetic charts. Now, all that's well and good, and it certainly has its place because it helps to prove the validity of the Bible. But we have to remember, information doesn't save people. Dates and timelines and prophecy charts do not change the human heart. Those things simply need to be a vehicle that points people to Jesus and how to have a dynamic, intimate, born-again relationship with Him. And so I want to share with you 3 questions that we use to shape our evangelistic sermons, questions that you can use in your evangelistic endeavors. And you see the questions there on the screen. Number 1, ask yourself, how does this topic or this doctrine or prophecy point to Jesus? What does this topic reveal about Christ's love and character? And how does this topic point me to the cross? If we will take time to actually meditate on those 3 questions and shape the content of our sermons and our presentations around the answers to those 3 questions, it will be a totally different kind of evangelistic series. It'll be one that's not just intellectual, but one that seeks to be experiential and reaches the heart so that people see a picture of Christ and they know how to connect with Him in a personal relationship. Because after all, isn't that what all of prophecy is for? Jesus is the center of all prophecy. Now, I don't have time to go through all the topics of an evangelistic series and share how they can be Christ-centered. So you're going to see a link on your screen, and if you'll go to that website, the Chesapeake Conference Evangelism page, there'll be other resources there, written resources, some articles, and we've created a longer seminar and some video segments on how to make each topic Christ-centered. So I want to encourage you to go there because I can't do all that in 10 minutes. However, I just want to use one as an example. I want to take the 2300-day prophecy. Now, I chose that one because many people consider that to be a hard or a complex prophecy, but it's usually presented in evangelistic meetings. If we're not careful, we can get so bogged down with all the technical aspects of that prophecy. Getting focused on the timelines and the dates, 457 BC, 27 AD, 31 AD, 1844. And then we get into the Hebrew and talk about the daily sacrifices and all these things. We can bombard people with so much information that they miss Jesus in it. So here's something you can do. When you talk about the cleansing of the sanctuary, after you explain what that means, now you want to reach the heart. And when it talks about Jesus cleansing the sanctuary of sin, that's also a little microscopic picture of what Jesus wants to do in our hearts. How He wants to cleanse me, how He wants to cleanse the listener of sin and transform them so they can experience a happy and abundant life. So I can take 5 or 10 minutes and share my personal testimony of how Jesus has cleansed my life. how Jesus has changed me. Or I can bring someone up front to share their own 5 or 10-minute conversion story. And what that does is it takes it from just being an intellectual prophecy to reaching the human heart and show us a picture of Christ. Another example. One of the main lessons of that prophecy is that Jesus is our high priest in heaven. Now, if they come away understanding that, when you think about it, that's just intellectual information, knowing that Jesus is our high priest. It's important information, but it's just intellectual. There needs to be a bridge to take that to the human heart. So now what I can do, we can share principles with them on how to connect with their high priest, how to talk to Jesus as a friend, how to spend time with Jesus on a daily basis, how to have a meaningful and effective daily devotional life. Share the principles of how to do that. Now you might think, you're going to share basic things like that in a prophecy seminar? And my answer is absolutely, my friends, because what it does is it makes that prophecy, it makes that doctrine simply a vehicle to how I can know Jesus personally. Because again, after all, isn't Jesus the center of all prophecy? And so, friends, if we will begin to present our evangelistic sermons that way, it will be totally transforming. It will be doing evangelism in a way that is different and unique and special, the way that it should be done, because it gives that awesome picture of Jesus Christ. Even many times I've had church members who will come up and say, I have never heard the doctrines presented this way. I've never seen the prophecies with Jesus as the center. Now, in some ways that makes me happy, in other ways that makes me sad, because it tells me they've just understood it intellectually. But friends, we got to reach the heart through our evangelistic series too. Christ-centered, positive, relational. If you again go to that link, you'll get some ideas on how you can do that with every subject, and you'll be able to find out how you can obtain the Forecasting Hope sermons to do that. Because we're going to create them into manuscripts with professional PowerPoint slides, but they won't be available till later in the year. And if you go to that link, not only can you get some resources, but you'll find out when those sermons will be available. Now, we have 2.5 minutes left, and I want to make one other point. One of the other things we do is we make regular appeals every night with every message, every single topic. Because the truth is, you are not a lecturer presenting information. You are a soul winner. And so you are inviting people to make decisions. You're inviting them to act and respond to Jesus. Now, that's not pressure. That's not manipulation. You're simply giving them an invitation. Because if I don't invite them to act, they're just kind of taking it all in with their mind. I want to reach their heart. I want them to respond to the Holy Spirit, so I need to give invitations. And one of the ways we do that is we use a generic response card every single night. And on this response card, which you'll see on your screen, it allows people to hand in comments, to hand in questions, but also to hand in prayer requests. And here's why that's important. If you tell the people that there is a prayer team at the meetings, and if they will hand in their prayer requests, there will be a team praying daily for whatever the requests are they hand in, I guarantee you people will hand in their prayer requests. Even if you're doing online evangelism, you can figure out a way for people to email or text or to somehow digitally respond by sending in their prayer requests. Because now what it gives you is an opportunity to connect personally. So when I see that card or that email where Bob has handed in a request to pray for his mom in the hospital, now I can call Bob on the phone. Maybe I can email him if it's online evangelism, or text him, or if it's a face-to-face meeting, I can see him at the meeting and I can say, hey Bob, I saw your prayer request that you asked us to pray for your mom, and I wanted you to know we are praying for her every day. Could I take a few moments to pray with you right now for her? No one is going to say no to that. And when it does, it opens the door to reach Bob's heart, because they men begin talking about other things in his life or about the meetings. And see, it's the personal interview, because people don't make decisions from the preaching. People might get convicted from the preaching, but they make decisions from the one-on-one interview like Jesus did with Nicodemus. So my friends, it's important to connect with people personally, because 15 minutes with someone one-on-one is far more significant than listening to a 60-minute sermon. Well, friends, our time is up. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this first ever Pastor Evangelist Boot Camp. And remember, God has called and equipped you to be a soul winner. And He has called you to be fishers of men, women, and children. May God bless you.